really, just stick around. It's gonna be fine. Okay, you may get a little scared, but it's okay because this is a good story.
I like scary stories, so I'm all for this.
So do you know the creepy story about the mom who would wear a mask?
No.
So the story starts off with a pair of twin boys, and one is named Ellis and one is named Lucas. And basically their parents just got a divorce and the family's now broken up. And the father actually won custody of the boys, and they haven't seen their mom in like years, for like a very long time. So after a couple years go by, the mom reaches out to the dad and says like, hey, I want to see my kids again. Like, can you bring them to my house? So the dad drives the two boys to the mom's farmhouse. But the dad knows that the mom doesn't want anything to do with the dad, and he just says, okay, boys, you just go in the house. I'm just going to leave. Your mom doesn't want to see me.
That's really sad.
Yeah, so the twin boys walk into the house, and they're looking for their mom, and they can't find her. And then they look outside, and they notice that the barn is all locked up and boarded up, and they still can't find their mom. So they go up to her room and notice that her room is super dark. All the blinds are shut, and they can't find her. And in her room, they find a plate full of like chicken wings, and like flies are flying on it.
What the heck?
Yeah, so their mom finally walks out, and she's wearing this bandage on her face because she tells them, I recently had a procedure on my face, and it's healing. So her sons are like really kind of freaked out by this whole bandage thing on the face.
Okay, that just sounds really freaky.
Yeah, because the kids are like really weirded out by this because no one told them that their mom had this procedure. Like their dad had no idea. So the mom tells her sons like, guys, you cannot tell anybody that I've had this procedure done. So later that day, the twins go to their room and they're trying to like theorize like what's going on with the mom and what she looks like underneath the bandages. So Lucas tells Ellis that she probably has like a bunch of scars underneath her bandages, and Ellis is like, that's disgusting. Like, why would you say that?
If the bandage is covering her face, she's got to be pretty messed up.
Yeah, so the mom walks into the room and just walks up to Ellis, totally ignores Lucas, hands Ellis a toy and tells him like, I'm sorry for being so distant and I hope that we could become closer. So the mom starts telling the two boys the rules of the house. She says that there's no running or yelling and that there's no play dates. No one can come over to the house. And she tells them that no one's allowed to be in the barn and that all the blinds in the house must always be shut because sunlight can damage her face and she can't be exposed to the sun.
Dude, those are some weird rules.
Yeah, so she also tells them that no one's allowed in her room and they cannot go in there. So then all of a sudden Ellis hands his mom a drawing that he drew for her and he gives her a hug. But while he's giving her a hug, you can tell that the mom is like hiding the fact that she's really mad at him. So throughout the day, the kids hang out and they hang out with their mom and they have dinner. But when it was time to go to bed, they realized that the mom no longer sings them a lullaby. And Ellis asked the mom like, why don't you sing us a lullaby like you used to? And the mom tells him like, I'm just not in the mood to do that.
Come on, just do it for the kids.
Yeah, so then Ellis and Lucas start like talking to each other and they're like, something's up with our mom. Like, this is wrong. This is really weird. So Lucas just starts singing the lullaby to help Ellis go to sleep. And then Ellis and Lucas are singing together. But outside the door, the mom was sitting outside listening to them sing. And this really upset her hearing them sing.
What is wrong with her?
So the next day, the twins decide like, let's go sneak into the barn. So they get into the barn where they're not supposed to be. And they notice all their old toys are still there. But then all of a sudden, Ellis looks up and he sees this hole in the barn with a bunch of red around it. And this makes him really nervous. And he's like, what the heck? So he runs out of the barn.
What do you mean by red hole?
So all of a sudden, when they get out of the barn, the mom says like, what are you guys doing? How dare you break the rule? Like, don't you ever do that again. So Ellis starts thinking about it and he realizes that the red in the barn looks like blood. But then his brother Lucas told him like, nah, it's probably just paint.
Okay, it is never just paint.
So later that night when Ellis was sleeping, all of a sudden he wakes up because he hears a gunshot from the barn. So he gets out of bed and he starts like walking downstairs and he sees his mom on the phone. And the mom seems like really angry and like really annoyed. And he hears her say, I'm so sick of how Ellis and Lucas are so close together. And she also says how she can't handle this and she doesn't know how much longer she can do this.
It is not looking good for them.
Yeah, so Ellis gets really scared and he's like, what the heck is going on? So he runs to his room and he like gets under his covers. But in the process of doing that, his mom heard him. So the mom starts walking up the stairs to go to his room and tries to check on him. So Ellis tries to stay really still and try to pretend like he's sleeping. And the mom's just like grabbing him and she's like, okay, go to sleep. So the next day, Ellis tells Lucas what he heard the mom say the night before and how she doesn't want them being close together and that she's really annoyed. And then all of a sudden the mom's phone rings. So she grabs her phone and like walks up the stairs so that they can't hear her talk. So they decide to get walkie-talkies. And while the mom was like resting downstairs on the couch, they went to go into her room to try to plant the walkie-talkies to always hear her.
This is about the time where it all starts going wrong.
Yeah, so when Ellis goes into the mom's room, he realizes that there's like a lot of things off with her room. Like he finds medication that she's taking, and then he notices like a bunch of photos in her room are missing, and then he finds a photo of him and his brother like face down, as if she was trying to hide it from herself. But then all of a sudden, the mom decides to go to her room, so Ellis and Lucas have to try to hide.
Here we go.
So Ellis is watching his mom as he's hiding, but as he's backing up, he accidentally bumps into a trash can, and he sees the drawing that he made for his mom in the trash, all wrinkled up.
Okay, that's messed up.
Yeah, so the mom walks up to the mirror because she has to change the bandages on her face. But since Ellis is underneath the sink, he cannot see the mom's face. So she's like changing the bandages, and then she's starts walking out of her room. But as she's walking out of the room, she notices the drawing on the ground. So she picks up the drawing, rips it up, and drops it in the trash can.
I still don't understand what's wrong with this mom.
Yeah, so Ellis grabs the ripped drawing out of the trash can, takes it to his brother Lucas, and like they look at this and they're like, what is up with our mom? Who would do such a thing? Like, that is so weird.
She literally seems crazy.
Yeah, so Lucas tells Ellis that that is not their mom and that is an imposter, and that this lady is trying to pretend to be their mom, but it's not actually their mom. But Ellis is like, dude, no way, Lucas. There's no way that's happening. So Lucas tries to sneak a picture of the imposter, and they compare it to like an old photo of their mom, and they realize that their old photo of their mom had blue eyes, and this imposter doesn't have blue eyes.
Wait, what?
So now both of the kids are really convinced that that's not their mom. So they get out their phone and try to call their dad, but they can't get a hold of their dad. But they lock themselves in the room, and the mom realizes that they're in the room and the door's locked. So she starts getting really upset, and she's like, come on, guys, like, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I've been so distant, but I really want to hang out with you guys. And she's like, let me in. I made you guys chicken fingers. Like, it's fresh for you. But Lucas tells Ellis that there is no way we're going outside. That is not our mom. So the day goes by, and it's nighttime now, and Ellis is watching an old video of his mom singing the lullaby to him. But in the process, all of a sudden, the mom breaks down the door and pushes through, and the mom gets super mad at them for calling their dad and takes their phone, destroys it, and says, don't you ever call your dad again.
Okay, I would be freaking out if I were these kids.
Yeah, so the boys get so scared, so they run into their room, they put their dresser against the door like to have like a barricade, and like time goes by, and they realize that they don't hear anything on the walkie-talkie. So Ellis is like, I'm gonna go see what mom's doing because I can't hear anything. So Ellis walks outside to try to find his mom, and then he sees his mom resting with a mask on. So Ellis wants to try to remove the mask, so he reaches out, tries to remove it, and all of a sudden the mom grabs his hand and starts shaking him.
Oh, Ellis is done.
So Ellis gets away from the mom, runs into his bedroom, closes the door, puts the dresser against the door, but the mom gets a crowbar, starts breaking down the door, busts in, and she says, hey, you better start respecting me and stop being so rude. So Ellis tells the mom, you are not my mom. You're an imposter. And then the mom gets really upset at Ellis, and then Ellis is like, dude, I am not having this. Like, screw you. You're not my mom. So the mom grabs Ellis and takes him to the bathroom and starts putting water on him and says, like, you better admit that I am your mom because I am your mom. And Ellis finally just says, okay, screw it. You're my mom, even though he doesn't believe it.
Okay, what's pouring water on the kid gonna do?
So the kids just run away, and they find a police officer and say, like, my mom is not my mom. It's an imposter. Some lady's trying to be my mom. So the police are like, okay, calm down. And they don't believe the kids. So they just drive the kids back to the mom's house. And on the way back to the mom's house, the mom comes out of the house without the mask on. And her face looks totally normal. And she tells the police, like, Ellis is lying. He's just like in like a fantasy. It's all lies. So the police believe the mom, and they just leave. So the boys go up to their bedroom, and they like try to pretend like they're fake sleeping again. And then the mom walks into the bedroom and says, like, I know you guys are fake sleeping, and I'm not leaving until you start to like me.
So the cops just left these kids with this mom.
Yeah, so later that night, after the kids fall asleep, the mom goes to her room, and she just starts crying her eyes out, and she's like just so stressed out. So the next morning comes, and the mom wakes up, and she's duct tied to her bed, and the twins are in the room, and they say, like, why are you trying to pretend to be our mom? Like, why are you an imposter? And the lady tells them, I am your mom. In the photo of me when I was younger, I used to wear blue contacts in my eyes. And she tells the boys, look, go in my purse. I still have the colored contacts in there. So Ellis tells Lucas, go look in the purse and see if they're there. So Lucas goes to go look, and he says, Ellis, they're not here. So Ellis gets a bucket of cold water and dumps it on the mom and says, how dare you? Why would you ever throw away your kids' drawings? Like, what kind of sick person would do that? And the mom just starts crying. And Ellis is kind of like taken back, like, maybe it is my mom. She's crying.
I don't know who to believe.
Well, Lucas tells Ellis, like, let's leave. It's time to leave. So they all start running outside. But Ellis has like a second thought, and he's like, I want to see the lady one last time. So he lies to Lucas and says, I forgot my toothbrush. Lucas, you wait for the car. I'm going to run back inside. And then when Ellis gets back into the house, he wants to go see the lady's purse just to check if the contacts were there. And he reaches in, and he realized the colored contacts were there and that she wasn't lying. So then all of a sudden, Lucas appears from behind him and tells him, Ellis, please believe me. I'm not lying to you. And Ellis gets really freaked out by Lucas and starts trying to run away. And Lucas starts trying to chase him.
Why would Lucas lie to Ellis?
So Ellis gets to his mom and unties her, and like they just start hugging each other, and they're apologizing, and Lucas is no longer chasing him. So the mom forgives Ellis and is like, it's okay, I can totally understand. And then the mom realizes, like, okay, it's time to tell you the truth, Ellis. So she takes Ellis to the barn, and she wants to explain to him why the parents divorced.
So she's gonna tell him the truth now.
So she reveals to Ellis that when he was younger, he accidentally killed his brother Lucas because he didn't realize that the gun had a bullet in it, and he accidentally shot his brother. And that's why there's a hole in the barn with a blood splat on it. And it turns out this whole time Ellis has been imagining Lucas and he's not really there. But the death of Lucas is what made the mom get a divorce and go into depression.
Okay, this is honestly giving me goosebumps.
So Ellis just starts crying, like freaking out, like he cannot believe that he did such a thing. And the mom's trying to comfort him and like, you're forgiven, it's okay. But out of frustration, Ellis just pushes the mom. But in the process of pushing the mom falls off the ledge and she dies. And all of a sudden the lantern fell and the barn just catches on fire.
What?
Yeah, so Ellis gets out of the barn, starts running away. But then all of a sudden he kind of falls a little bit and then he looks up and he sees his mom and his brother Lucas again. And that's how the story ends.
So all this time, Ellis is just imagining Lucas.
Yeah, so now he's imagining Lucas and his mom. So he's like convincing himself that they're still alive, but they're not.
Dude, this is a freaky story.
So guys, if you like the stories, make sure you hit the like button. Also comment if you have any other stories or like anything you want me to tell, any other stories. I'll look into it and let me know.
Oh, this was a creepy one.
Yeah, dude, this is weird.
Oh my god.
It's so weird.